All right. Welcome to Marlins After Dark. We are back after a long hiatus. We're also renamed from Marlins After Midnight. That's a little late for me to ask East Coast hosts, again, guests to stay up. So, Marlins After Dark, anytime after the sun has gone down, we could start breaking down the Marlins, that team that, like no other, keeps you awake late into the night. I'm your host, Sean Millerick, and a little bit of Marlins news to talk about today. So we're going to go around the horn and break that all down with my guests Kevin Barral, Jeremiah Geiger, and John Rodriguez, and talk about that Pablo trade that happened. So I'll kick it off to Kevin. What do you think? Pablo Lopez going out for Arraez, the AL batting champion.
Yeah, you mentioned it, the AL batting champ. I mean, when you make a trade like that, your offense improves significantly, but then your pitching takes a hit. And that's how I saw it. Obviously, I think it was a win-win trade for both sides. I mean, Miami gets the bat in Arraez, which they highly needed, and Miami has to give up pitching Pablo Lopez and prospect Jose Salas, which sucks. Sucks. Alex can get into Jose Salas a little bit, but yeah, I think he gave up a little bit too much. I think Miami should have gotten some more pieces in return. But just talking about the players involved in the trade, I mean, Luis Arraez, the AL batting champ, guy hit 316, extremely high OBP. When you walk more than strike out, you're 100% doing something correct. So love to see that. And then Miami gives a Pablo, who, for me, it's bittersweet, and some of you guys as well. But Pablo is a great guy. One of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. As you see him on camera, he's just like that off camera. And it sucks that he has to go. Really does suck you have to give up Jose Salas, the number 5 prospect, according to Pipeline. You give up DSL prospect Brian Trurio as well, who is younger than me. I'm going to keep mentioning that because it's pretty funny in my opinion. But besides that, I mean, yeah, you get the AL batting champ, and he will be playing second base with Jazz Chisholm going to center field. So, you make this trade, and this trade has other, I guess, other effects to what happens around the organization.
No, absolutely. Jazz moving to center. That was that other big piece of news to drop. Shortly thereafter, we're still trying to figure out the roster permutations of how this is going to happen. And then, the Kim announces, so who's playing center? What's that about second base for Arraez? And Jazz is cool with it. Their Jazz is going there, and I did not see that coming. Jeremiah, was that on your radar at all? That opening day center fielder would be Jazz
No,
Chisholm Jr.?
no, not at all. So when I was checking Twitter and I saw the trade, and then a while later I saw, Jazz is going to center field apparently, and the first thing that came to my mind, was I have no doubt that Jazz can do it, but defensively and offensively, he has the potential to be great in both ways. But the issue that I have is that now that's limiting the Marlins for getting another big time bat, because I don't know how willing Kim Ng and the rest of the front office are going to be to go out and say, hey, we still need another offensive piece, because Arraez is nice. Arraez is a star when it comes to putting the ball in play. I mean, you look at his average from ever since he came in the league, the guy can flat out hit the ball. But the thing of the matter is I don't think the Marlins are one piece away or two pieces away. I think they needed even a bigger piece, a guy like Brian Reynolds. And now that Jazz is in center field, Reynolds is off the table.
Okay. Yeah, so you think there's a bigger trade coming, or you want there to be a bigger trade coming?
I want there to be. I think there should be, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that with the pitching now, with getting rid of Pablo, trading him away, I think Kim is going to be a little hesitant to try to deal from prospects. I think Yuri's going to be off the table as well.
Yeah, he's been off the table, and that's kind of what I wanted to get to. Kim today at a press conference, she mentioned that she's a little bit more hesitant to now trade starting pitching, and I mean, obviously, so you trade another one. I would say you're pretty thin on starting pitching because you signed Cueto, you kind of got rid of Castano. You don't know if he's coming back to the organ. He probably is, But I mean, besides that, you don't have much more there. Jake Eater probably will debut at some point, maybe 2023, early 24. Yuri should be up, Dak should be up at some point, but those guys are unproven in terms of MLB time. So you kind of want experience there. So you kind of want to keep Trev, Brax. You just signed Johnny Cueto to fill in Pablo's void, and you still have your ace and Sandy and Luzardo, who should have a big season.
Yeah. And so, John, quick thoughts, and then we'll turn it over to Alex and assess the moribund state of the farm.
Still hard to process. The Marlins actually traded for a star, and it's nice to see new, different things. I was looking through, fan feedback. Some were calling it Arraez a overachiever in the 2022 season, and that's maybe something that we could look into in 2023, see if he could replicate those numbers. That's definitely going to be something interesting to see, definitely in a pitcher's ballpark this time around. I'm not sure what is the implications and differences between Target Field and Lone Depot Park, but I definitely need to look into that. But I'm pretty sure Target Field is a little bit more hitter friendly, given that the right field area is obviously the tall wall that they have out there. But regardless on the fact, hey, we got the batting title champion in Arraez, and the return is interesting. I feel like there could have been an additional return piece for the Marlins. I feel like if you're giving away a big guy like Salas, your best prospect bat, I mean, there should have been maybe an additional piece that they should have gotten back. Maybe like a Kepler, maybe even a minor leaguer that they could add on and kind of refurbish that farm system, which obviously seems to be very much so depleted or depleting. So in general, interesting trade. I'm very excited. The Marlins finally gave me something to actually be pretty excited about. But it's interesting to see how everybody else kind of responded to it. Lots of unhappy fans as well.
Yeah, I share the excitement of somebody who can get on base, move runners over. I mentioned, I think earlier today, he just had his third worst average at the plate in terms of batting average for his career, and still, he's had better seasons than the one he just had in terms of on base percentage and average, and that's just something that the Marlins were really lacking. Alex, where's your head at on this?
Well, first, I hope you guys can hear me. I'm on my phone. What I will say is, you're losing, and we all assumed that this could be coming with Pablo leaving the organization. But what I want to say is, I want to echo what Kevin said. One of the best people you'll meet. This guy did so much for not only on the field as a pitcher, but of course in the community. He was always one of the first guys to
Alex, you're underwater. You're underwater, dude.
Yeah.
You're underwater.
You guys hear me? No?
Faintly,
Like
but-
really faint. Like really faint.
How about now?
Oh yeah,
That's
now
better.
you're good.
Oh yeah, you're
That's
great.
Let me
better,
turn off the
yeah.
camera. I'm turning off the camera, but yeah, I'm on my phone. Sorry. I just want to say for Pablo, really quick, to echo Kevin, one of the best guys that you'll ever meet. Dude was always the first to volunteer for charity, for kids, sign autographs, as many as needed. I put it on Twitter a little while ago. I sat next to his host family from Clinton in 2018, and this was when he first got here. They raved about how impressionable he is, how kind he is, how smart he is. Dude could have been a freaking doctor, and he chose to play baseball, which is, I mean, I guess he made the right decision because he's good. But man, could have gone in a different direction. But this guy's really cool. I'm gonna miss him a lot. What I'll say on my terms, on my terms and opinion of the trade, I think it's a drastic overpay. I've told Kevin and the Fish Stripes guys and some of you guys as well that I believe Arraez fits exactly what they want to do offensively, in terms of getting an average first hitter, not just a guy who's going to go over the fence every time, but a guy that can work his way on base for the power hitters that you hope rebound behind him, Soler and Avi Garcia. So I like it. I like how Arraez fits what the Marlins are doing or trying to do. What I don't like is giving up your best, and I will say best, offensive ceiling in a prospect was Jose Salas. And I will stick to that. I know there are people that think he struggled this year, and he did. He got a little pull heavy. He struck out a bit. He also played in very, very pitcher-friendly environments, and he's a very young guy. And then they threw him in the Arizona Fall League as one of, I think, the second youngest player in the Arizona Fall League. Didn't perform very well there. Also was pull heavy, also struck out a bit, and that was an offensive-friendly environment. So there's holes to clean up, but there's tons of projectability to Jose Salas that I think the Twins are going to be able to capitalize on. So I don't think that he's that far away as he seemed this year. I don't think he's that far away if they can develop him properly. So I love Jose Salas. He was the top offensive guy in the organization for me, now gone. He also has positional flexibility. You can leave him at shortstop. You can put him at third base, maybe second base if they need, whatever it may be. Very athletic kid. His hands and bat speed are almost second to none in this organization, or were second to none in this organization. And that's now gone, leaving what was already a thinning minor league system even thinner. So you don't like that. And then on top of it, you throw in Chorio, and you had his stats, I think, Sean, a little bit ago on the screen. The guy was third in the Marlins organization in WRC Plus as a 17-year-old kid. So I know it's a long way away. He's 17 years old, but there's tons of projectability in that player as well. So you talk about not only losing one of the best control pitchers in baseball, but two prospects who I think could be very good. And I think that's a drastic overpay, but I do like how Arraez fits with what the Marlins are doing.
No, absolutely agree. I mean, he really is just the modern model of that blueprint they've espoused our off season. Runners to get on base, move runners over, small ball hitting, the kind of baseball that Skip Schumacher has been espousing since he's been talking about his vision for the team. I think that price here does hurt. It's unfortunate that the Marlins are into position to have to overpay. I think we kind of talked ourselves up the past couple of weeks about how no one else is really selling pitching right now. And that's so with the Marlins are going to be able to pillage some system on there and, get some team to pay a fortune. And it seemed that maybe some teams out there realize that the Marlins are kind of in a tight spot too. Sure, you go ahead, you run that lineup out there, in front of your fans. You don't make that move for a bat, and so it stings. But on the other hand, still a very crowded middle infield, right? And since go back to the trade deadline, they've traded for 4 infielders. They signed 1 in free agency, and they still had 3 guys they liked on their under contract, from the previous year. So it's just you knew someone else was going to have to go. It stinks that it had to be highly touted prospects, but if it brings the AL batting champion, I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Jeremiah, did you raise your hand?
Well, I think a really key point to realize about this particular trade is that Jose Salas is still years away from a major league debut. He hasn't played above, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the single A level. I don't think he's reached double A. High A, yeah.
He has not made double A, no.
So, I mean, 19 years old. But the Marlins right now have a window with their pitching staff where if Jesus Luzardo and if Trevor can bounce back, and obviously Sandy's a different level, but like these guys are like legitimately, when healthy and when they all put it together, can be some of the top. They can be the top rotation in all of baseball. They want to capitalize on this window, and I think that's why the front office was a little bit more lenient to give away a prospect of the caliber of Salas to get a major league proven star right now, because Salas doesn't help you in 2023. He might not help you in 2024. So I'm more okay with the trade because it offers immediate major league help, which is something that the Marlins have kind of struggled with. It's always been prospects, and sometimes they don't pan out. Like Lewin Diaz, for example, is one that comes to mind.
Okay. Alex, where were you on timeline on there? I'll admit to ignorance. I didn't want to throw a projection out. Where do you see Salas arriving in the majors?
You may be muted, Alex.
My bad. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Phone. Where do I see Salas arriving for his major league debut? I think that's your question.
Yeah. What was it?
Yeah, I would probably say 2024 is fair.
Okay.
there's a lot for him to clean up. Does need to be able to go to all fields a little bit better. Needs to clean up some strikeout issues. But man, that guy's hands and the way that he sets up and the way that he swings the bat is what's going to carry him. And he's athletic as hell, man. So I have trust in him that he definitely has a major league ceiling. What I think is lesser the problem of, how he did last year and how certain other prospects like Lewin Diaz did. It's not that these guys don't have talent. It's that the Marlins haven't been able to develop it. So that's your true problem. And let's say he goes to Minnesota. Maybe they make the most of him immediately, and maybe he gets to Double-A this year. You don't know. That could happen. This guy has the talent to do something like that. So, man, I'm excited for him. I'm connected with a couple of members of his family that, they talk about Ethan, and then they're talking about Andrew. So maybe the Marlins next international class can get Andrew Salas, and that would be really fun. And they could still have a Salas in the organization because they say he's the best one of them all. But they're all good.
All right.
So we'll see what happens with the Salas family. But that's a great baseball family. Sad to see him go. But yeah, 2024 would be my projection for a major league debut for Jose.
Okay, great. And so let's talk about Jazz and center. Isaac, what was your reaction when you heard that was a plan that was gonna?
I mean, I actually put out a tweet when the Marlins signed Gene Segura. I was like, an outside the box idea would be Jazz and center because Gene's natural position is second base. So I thought, you know what, why not put Jazz in center? The more that I think about it, though, the more I'm like, near to that because this guy, he's never played a single day of outfield in his entire life, in his entire professional career. He actually rated above average at second base in the major leagues this year. And you're putting someone in Luis Arraez that didn't play that well defensively at second base. So you're just sort of not making the most efficient moves with these defensive positions. But at the same time, you know what? Jazz is your best player. If he's playing center field, that's a plus for the organization, and it is. But it's a tough one. And it's something that I don't envy being in Kim Ng's position. Because you couldn't get Luis Arraez and Brian Reynolds at the same time. You couldn't do both those things. So if they're gonna go get Luis and you're gonna put Jazz in center, fine. Let's see how it works out in 2023. But there's a good chance that Jazz sucks out there, man. He's never played a single day in the outfield in his entire professional career. It's all been second base and short. So it's tough. It's tough. But you know what? If anyone in the organization is able and capable of doing it, it's him. But it's still it's worrisome at the very least.
It is a plan that feels like I'd feel a lot more comfortable with if I was doing this on MLB The Show.
Right, exactly.
on MLB. Oh, sure, they can play
Sanchez
that spot.
And Brian De La Cruz couldn't do it. Christian Yelich barely did it. Marcelo Zuna didn't really do a good job at doing it. And you're asking Jazz Chisholm, you're literally the face of the franchise on the positions player side to do it. It's tough, man. It's tough, but I'm also a little bit confident that he can do it. So whatever you want to make out of that.
Not only that, you have a coach in John Jay who played center field throughout almost his whole major league career. So you have someone who knows the position well, and I think could coach Jazz pretty well on that end. So, and Jazz is a very athletic guy, very quick. So I think he'll adjust pretty well in center field. Hopefully that's the case because then you have a guy who you have for many, many years to come, and you don't have to worry about center field.
And I'll tell you something.
I don't want you guys to forget something really quick. That Jazz Chisholm Jr., as Isaac said, has never played a day in the outfield. Of course, he's going to say, yeah, I'll do it, and I'm going to win a gold glove because that's Jazz Chisholm, right? This is also the same guy who just suffered back and meniscus injuries. So I think it's a bad thing to do. I don't agree with that at all. I've been on this fence since this came up to be like a suggestion that he could play center field. I hate it. I don't think it's the right move to make. Of course, he's going to be down for it because that's who this player is. However, you have to look at this realistically, and this is something that could go very bad. Hopefully not, and hopefully it goes in the right direction, and hopefully he can handle it. But it could go in the other direction very easily.
And not only is there a high risk with this, position. What I tweeted out earlier with what I thought was going to be the everyday infield for the Marlins. First base with Coop and Arraez, a perfect platoon situation. At shortstop, Wendell and Amaya. you got like a really perfect infield situation, in my opinion. You know, you didn't really have to do this. You could have gone and acquired a Kevin Kiermaier for all I care. Acquire anyone to play center field, but you're really going to put your star position player in center field who's never played a single inning in his entire life, maybe aside from the Bahamas. I'm sorry, bro, but you could have had Coop and Arraez in first, Jazz at second, Segura at third, and Wendell at Amaya, who I think is major league ready, Jacob Amaya. He can play shortstop with Wendell. That's a perfect platoon because Amaya cranks lefties, Wendell's cranks righties. Neither of them can hit the same side pitching. Why not do that in field and get a center fielder? But they didn't do that, and they're going to do with what they can internally, and let's hope it works out for them. But that was my idea, was to have what I tweeted out, that infield. I can't believe they didn't do it.
Something I want to call out, this will be the last thing I say on this, but something I want to call out really quickly is the quote that we heard today. You guys were there for the presser. I was working, so I couldn't make it. But one of the reasons that Jazz is going to be in center field is because of how he handles pop-ups on the infield.
Yeah, I saw that.
Said that.
Yeah,
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
I'm sorry. That's malpractice. So I'm just saying that's malpractice.
There's no way that I did not hear that.
Does it feel like Jazz going to center field? It's like in football when you have the head coach who's about to get fired and just throw in the rookie just to save their season. Throw him in there for a couple games. Hopefully he turns everything around. I can keep my job. This is what it feels like putting Jazz in center field. Just in there. Hopefully Jazz, we have an in-house player, someone in the organization that could fix this problem we've been having for years. It just feels like let's just do it. Why not? Throwing everything to the ceiling, everything at the wall.
You know, for you football guys, this is like if Ryan Tannehill wasn't good. This is like throwing Ryan Tannehill in the quarterback position if he wasn't a good quarterback. This is what that is. It's ridiculous.
It's
This
the
is
D.
Tannehill
Gordon
playing
Seattle
wide
experiment.
Yep.
Jazz played well at second base, man. It's like, yeah, he made some capital errors. For those who don't
Imagine
know
how
what that
Jazz is. Jazz has to practicing at second base that he thought. Then in the WBC he's shortstop, and then when he comes back he has to do center field. Like what?
Something
I'm
I
hoping he gets to
question.
play center in the World Baseball Classic. Now. I'd like to see him get some looks there. Main reason I was going to watch the WBC was honestly just to watch Jazz Chisholm hope to play some short. And now I'm watching it to see him maybe play another position.
One of my biggest question marks is his arm. Does he have a good arm? Because
No.
yeah,
23rd percentile.
because if he's not playing shortstop, it's for a reason. Maybe it's the arm,
Right.
right? So
Yeah, no. In his defense, I don't think he wasn't playing shortstop because of the arm, but the arm did not help his case to play shortstop. If that makes sense.
So he's got
Well,
the
Juan
Juan
Pierre
Pierre
had that
noodle
arm
arm.
too. What does have to tell us?
He'll have
about
better
that?
than Juan Pierre, but he's gonna have like better than John Birdie-ish arm, is what I'm seeing.
Oh wow! Oh man!
John, if anyone saw the 2020 playoffs in the NLDS, there's no arm there. So Jazz has better arm than that. You know, he's a god, but there's no Marcelo Ozuna 2017 arm for what.
Again, this is a guy who has things to work out at the plate. I mean, I know we all love him at the plate, and he can go up and get the up and in pitch and everything else, which is good. This guy struck out 30% of the time, and now you're going to task him with learning a brand new position, which is one of the hardest to play, especially at Lone Depot Park.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I think it's a mistake, but here we are.
Yeah,
For
I
God's
mentioned
sakes, I would've-
Tel Marte.
I would
earlier
have preferred this
today.
team.
I was worried
Yeah.
about that comp.
And the main thing is just hopefully him staying healthy, because he's the most games he's played is 124 in 2021, going from 60 this season, and he's playing center field, which he's gonna be running around, he'll probably be flying out there trying to get fly balls, line out.
Very
whatever.
physically demanding
Yeah,
position.
and his body has never held up for more than 125 games. How is it going to be for 140, 150? How is it going to be every day at the center field position? That's what I want to see.
You kind of would have just wished this team just brought any center fielder at this point to at least man down to position as a stopgap.
Right.
I always mention Michael A. Taylor. You pretty cheap guy out there on the market. You could have traded for.
Guy.
Isaac mentioned Kevin Kiermaier earlier. That would have been a nice fit for Miami. I
Handsome
mean,
guy.
he's a very handsome guy. Yeah. And
But let's think about it, Kevin. Would we rather Kevin Kiermaier? Let's be honest, he sucks.
no, I mean obviously
Would
not.
we rather
but-
him play, because the problem with what they had before was it was De La Cruz and Sanchez in center and Jazz at second. It wasn't a great situation. Would we rather that and Jazz put in center, and that way we have all these offensive guys, and De La Cruz and Jesus Sanchez for sure have a spot? Or would you rather have Kevin Kiermaier and Michael A. Taylor switching types?
not both, but one or the other.
No, definitely two of them, because they both suck against their same
Fair enough.
side pitching. I think Jazz is the better option, but the problem is they couldn't have gotten Brian Reynolds. That's the problem.
I mean, you also can't blame them for not making the trade. I mean, the price was
and getting just Arraez back also. God, that's number one thing I don't like is just getting Arraez. Not even any type of prospect, any level, or any type of just even low level quadruple A player in the major. It's nothing.
But of how absolutely putrid the Marlins offense has been the last 2 seasons, like I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, like Arraez is a great player, great contact skills, but he's not going to change this Marlins hitting this offense into a juggernaut overnight. Him and Gene Segura, the two main guys that the Marlins have acquired after a really slow offseason, like it's not gonna. I mean, look at the NL East. You got the Phillies, the Braves, the Mets, and you got to play these guys. I mean, half the season, it's almost. You got to question the commitment to win, and that as a fan, and as a guy that really cares about this team and likes analyzing the team. I get it. Arraez, great acquisition. I still think there needs to be more. I still think I tweeted this out earlier. They should go after Brian Reynolds. I know the price is high, but no one's paying that price. He's not a Juan Soto type player. Although the Pirates continue to pretend like he is, but he is an all-star caliber player. And Miami needs another all-star caliber player, or they're not going to. Again, they won't compete. Arraez isn't going to do it unless Jorge Soler and Avi Garcia go back to Kansas City Royals and Milwaukee Brewers form, respectively, and just tear it up. It's not going to happen.
Right.
We need more.
So my question to you would be, if you want to get that extra guy,
right?
How do you get him? Because you don't want to trade from your starting pitching depth anymore, because then you're really going to be shitting yourself at the major league level. You want to trade from your prospect capital, because then you're really going to be the worst farm system in baseball. How do you go get that guy?
So right off the bat, you have to consider the controllable aspect. How many years are you going to control this major league proven hitter? So for a guy to go get Reynolds, you have to consider dealing Yuri Perez. All right.
That's a good idea.
I don't know. Idea. I'm on the fence about it. I keep going back and forth.
I am too. Because I think it would be 1-for-1 at that point.
I think that would be fair. Because I just know Yuri Perez has a potential to be great. He has a potential to be an absolute ace and an all-star, perennial all-star. But Brian Reynolds immediately transforms this offense with the addition of Arraez and a healthy Jazz. That's pretty solid, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
in that scenario, I would have liked it if there was a way to do the one pitcher that wasn't Sandy trade to get Reynolds. But one thing I like with the trade we made today is that it wasn't that Pirates overpay, because you're right, they're totally overvaluing him, I think. But if we were going to give that up, I feel better about giving up Pablo and Salas, and giving up 2 or 3 of our top 10 pitchers in the organization, for Reynolds. I'd like to keep that, pitching depth, and keep our strength.
How much better would the team look right now if they also added Max Kepler onto that trade?
Oh, yeah, maybe
I don't know. I couldn't imagine that there was such a big difference in cost acquisition. They couldn't have added Kepler to that.
Hmm.
Like Salas and Pablo, you're saying Arraez is worth both of them. I'm very curious to see how close Minnesota would have been to add Kepler as well, who's coming off a couple of bad seasons. That would have been very interesting.
I love Kepler's Statcast. Like he's such an
Bro,
interesting player.
Yeah, I didn't love
Can't
it.
hit for average though.
No, he low key sucks, but his baseball savant makes him look like he doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So where do you
like just the fact you couldn't have even gotten like a prospect or something from that in the return, like a top 30 guy, you know, in the lower portions. I'm not saying go out there and get an Austin Martin, but one of the lower guys in the system.
Austin Martin is a lower guy. The guy's rated 12th in the system, I think.
Salas is not rated lower.
Salas is rated 6th, 4th.
He's 13th in the prospect list, right?
In the
The
Twins.
Twins.
The updated
Yeah,
the
he's
Twins.
13th in the Twins. Yeah,
That's crazy. That shows the difference between the two. Just how bad the Marlins are.
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
At developing
offensive
hitting,
development.
Yeah.
it's terrible.
He's top 5 for us, and then he goes to Minnesota and he barely cracks top 15.
It's a completely depleted system. That's something I think we could all agree. They completely depleted the whole system. Not only that, the lack of producing that top tier talent that they all touted and said that they had, which they couldn't produce.
Yeah,
They
didn't deplete it. They just did a shitty job at developing it.
Yeah, and now you kind of hope with, you know, they got rid of some of these guys from the minor league system. I believe Jeff DeGroot was one, and another one. Oh, missing the name right now, but you know,
Gary
hopefully now
Dembo.
with new guys in there, you hope the development's a little bit better.
That guy's a dick.
You're right, Isaac. Max Kepler's baseball savant is just all red. This makes him look
Yeah,
like
he got BABIP. He got BABIP to hell. Like his BABIP
Was he a victim
like
of the shift?
230, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that guy's gonna like have a pretty good year now.
He would have been a
So
good
where do you
left
Where do you
field.
think he bats in the lineup? Arraez.
Second.
Hmm.
You think the first 3 are in no order? Arraez, Segura, Jazz.
Maybe.
It's probably fair.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is Segura righty?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I've said this before. I love my balanced lineups. Got lefty Chisholm, righty Segura, lefty Arraez. You got LRL.
I think
I like
Arraez will bat leadoff and Jazz will hit
Ooh.
third.
Okay.
So you think Jazz will surrender the spot? That won't be like a point
No,
of pride
I think
thing?
Jazz. I think it would be idiotic to bat Jazz leadoff.
I agree.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I
You,
agree.
you bet your best on base guy first, and that's Arraez.
Right.
Arraez is the best on base guy on this team.
Right.
There's no question. So
Arraez is
I
the
think
best hitter
Arraez.
on
far
this
away.
team, period.
And so you have
Arraez
Arraez leadoff.
So who hits cleanup?
So you
Soler.
have
Avi or Soler?
Soler.
Soler. Yeah.
Yeah, Soler or Cooper. Cooper could probably do it.
Cooper,
Soler.
yeah, bro. Like it's
cool.
it's unfortunate. I hate this team so much, but like imagine like Arraez and Jazz and Segura, like they're all like kind of dope, and you have Soler and Avi. It's not horrible, and that's what sucks. Like they're not horrible. Like, maybe this team isn't that bad. That's dope.
That's what I keep thinking to myself. Like this team's not the worst
Like,
on
it's not
paper.
horrible. They'll finish third, at least third or worse in the division, but still, it's not bad.
I asked this to John and Sean on my podcast, but how much does this move of Arraez move the needle for the Marlins?
Nothing.
Nothing
Very
at all?
little. I would say little.
It doesn't.
In 2023.
I think they're just like a 72, 73 win team right now.
Yeah. What did they win? 69 games, I think.
60.
last year?
Yeah, 60.
Nice.
69,
So
yes.
I would say they're at this point with Arraez and nothing else. If they do nothing else, they're like a 73, 74 win team.
Right. Yeah.
Improvement. Not what you want though.
You meant we're talking about those 3 guys at the top of the order. Can you guys tell me the first 3 guys the Marlins had opening day on top of the order against the Giants?
Wasn't.
Oh, I know. Wait.
Soler the one.
Wait.
It was Soler.
John,
Yeah.
John,
That's right.
Daniel, opening day 2021.
2022.
22.
Oh, 2022. Sorry. Yeah, it was
Soler.
Soler leading off like an idiot, and then it was don't tell me. Was it Cooper? Corey Dickerson wasn't here, right?
No,
No,
he wasn't.
So
I know,
far,
I
it's
was looking at the
Soler, Cooper, and who will be third?
Oh, it was
Was it Avi?
no.
Okay.
It was
What was Donnie
some-
doing?
was
So,
it
They were,
one?
they were hitting Jazz like 8th or something, right?
Yeah,
Just hitting nine.
Well,
Yeah.
then
What?
they didn't
Nine.
play him,
He's
right?
before Payne and Henry.
Oh, it was Jesus Kansas hitting third. Jesus Kansas third.
That's his
What's that lineup when you
third,
fill out the card? Like
Aggie fourth, and then Avi fifth.
What
Donnie
a
Hmm,
was
capital
drinking
lineup.
What a, imagine
then-
Soler hitting. We went from Soler like first like lead off to now we have Arraez, Segura, Jazz. Like I would much rather have that than
Shout out to
2022, whatever that was.
Remember
Shout out-
day 2 when Jazz was on the bench?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do
honestly,
remember
against
that.
Carlos Rodon, I would have benched Jazz too.
It made sense. It stung to me. That's the game I went to. I'm on the
that's right.
subway in Frisco on my way to the stadium, and just the Jazz sends his tweet. I'm like, oh.
Oh
Great.
my god!
I remember that one.
Yeah, you mentioned Dickerson, Isaac. He was leading off in 21. He was leading off in 21.
Mm.
Oh, was he? Oh, nice.
It was Dickerson, Marte, Aggie.
Jeez, did we like that team?
Wow, the roster difference between 2021 and this year is blown.
Yeah,
me
that's
away.
crazy.
It's like I think there's seven different people. That's if we count Sandy.
job,
It's
Tim.
being part of the lineup. But
Man, I'm still looking back at that. Like, should we add 1 or 2 bullpen pitchers?
Obviously. And you
Yeah.
have Corey
Yeah.
yeah, I think they need
Chafin
to make
and
at least
Reyes are my
one
2 picks
MLB
right now.
level bullpen ad.
I was looking at the roster today, and I'm
Chafin would
like,
be nice.
still nothing. Like, I don't know. Floro's gonna be the closer. I'm assuming. Like, I don't know how I feel
Yeah,
about
it
that.
seems like-
Like,
I think
he
Floro could have
doesn't
a-
throw hard enough.
I feel like if you
don't
get a
I can
balance,
confirm it's not going to be Aroldis Chapman. I can confirm that.
For
I
sure,
don't know.
for
I heard a
sure. Really,
report
really.
that They say otherwise, Daniel.
oh my god.
Oh boy! All right, we move on. No, I
Chafin.
think Floro. I mean, if you don't get a close, I think Floro could be pretty good. He ended off the season like it was like lights out how he ended it off. He had
Yeah, he started slow and then he really started to like gain
he
steam.
really got it going. I'll look at some more.
Wasn't it at the beginning of the season that he wasn't like up to game speed or something like that? I think if I
He
remember.
was
wasn't
something
going
like that.
hard.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what it was.
Need to
But-
bring back
He's already
AJ
up in the-
Ramos.
Already
I'd
up
be
in the
so
playoffs
down to
or
get
something, huh?
Chafin. Chafin was injured to start the year, and then he he pitched pretty good. He was on the Tigers. Like he pitched pretty good, and that's a pitcher's park too. So something to look out for. Maybe.
Cool.
I've heard
Gregory
the Mets
Soto
are
get traded
interested,
too.
so though Daddy Steve will just splash
Oh,
the
man.
pot if we
There you go.
Yeah.
I would even take a chance on Knebel. I literally would not mind getting
That's
Knebel.
Isaac's guy.
I'd love Knebel.
There's
I'd love
literally no
Knebel.
reason for the Marlins not to sign Knebel.
100%.
They have so many lefty guys. They need to get Knebel.
Yeah. Knebel's what, righty?
Yeah.
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 Crazy
I'll-
2021 season.
I'm sorry.
Floro. Go ahead.
He had
John.
He had a really good 2021 season. Like he pitched.
Oh,
really,
yeah,
really
he was
good.
Fine. He's been fine for the last few years. I don't know why they don't get him already. He'd be cheap
Yeah.
as fuck too.
Definitely feels like they need to add that other bullpen piece to kind of be like the cherry on this transaction. Then today I
Dylan
don't think
Floro
we'll call it
post All-Star
after
break.
that.
Dylan Floro post All-Star break in 30 games put up a 2.15 ERA, 8 saves. Not too shabby.
Well,
Well,
here's a
really-
question, and I'll play off the cuff really quickly
Uh-oh.
because nobody was expecting this question.
Oh, time to
What?
get Soriano question in. Let's do it.
No, not a George Soriano question. My question is,
When
what would
did
need to
Anthony
hap-
Peguero?
No, I'm not talking about Anthony Peguero. No, what I'm talking about is what would need to happen for you guys to move Edward Cabrera to maybe the closer role.
Never.
Ooh,
The guy
no.
has too many pitches, Alex. I got this.
Why never? Why never?
Alex.
He can't
No, okay,
control the much.
obviously not never. That was hyperbolic. But Edward Cabrera has way too many pitches. Way too like he's too nasty to put in the bullpen. Bro.
Okay, he's also injury prone.
Yeah. So was fucking Sandy. Oh, actually, Sandy was never injury prone. I'm sorry.
No, he wasn't.
Exactly, you're right. No, I don't know, bro. Trevor Rogers is closer to the bullpen than Edward Cabrera is.
Trevor looks more like that's what I was gonna say. Either
Edward's
Trev or
typically
Max.
keeping the starts, and Edward is
Sixto Sanchez.
Oh,
No,
brother.
Sixto, we're not
You,
gonna talk about
God, you're
we're
still
not,
talking
we're not
about
going to talk about
Sanchez.
Sixto. But no, for Carver, Edward, you got to give him at least a little bit more of a shot than Trevor.
No, I would say I agree that you have to give him another chance. He's if he gets injured again, I'm done with him as a starter. That's what I will say.
Cabrera.
With who?
With
Cabrera.
Edward Cabrera,
Goody.
if he suffers another injury, like another arm injury or whatever it may be, and shows that he can't gain his control through multiple innings, I put him in the bullpen.
Sean with the graphics, dude. Keep up.
You think Max Meyer is already destined for the bullpen when he
Yeah,
gets
so
back?
why isn't Max Meyer not destined for the bullpen for you, Carver?
Because Max Meyer has one of the nastiest pitches in this organization, and he
Okay,
controls.
dude.
That's
Dude,
perfect for a closer, though.
I'm sorry, but Edward Cabrera's changeup and sinker and
It's
slider,
good. Yeah, it's good.
they're all
But
better
But
than.
Myers' control and command is a lot better than Edward Cabrera.
Suck my dick, bro.
Every like what's his like
Sean's getting
reporter-
copyrighted. It's over.
You're
Monetize
so
it.
full of shit, bro.
Well, it's
I'm
after
sorry,
dark. We can do whatever.
Edward Cabrera
After
has
dark.
a much better shot at being a pitcher than
YouTube
Max
isn't awake.
Meyer. That's
Yeah,
a
and
fact.
I'd be fine moving one of the major
No,
starters
Max
in.
Meyer is a much
It's-
more bullpen arm than Edward Cabrera. I'm sorry.
I agree with that.
That's a
Everyone
fact.
thinks Meyer's a bullpen, like on
Max-
all, like,
Max
all the
Meyer is a
reporters,
bullpen
all the
arm. It's a
analysts.
shame that they didn't put him in the bullpen before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Just saying that, and I'm not saying this is the end all be all. Baseball America has Edward in the bullpen by 2025.
Oh yeah.
Bro, they also had Gary Cooper at DH in 2035.
I remember that.
Could be true.
What's your point, bro? Max Meyer is definitely the bigger bullpen arm than Edward Cabrera.
He
Edward
is.
Cabrera has 6
Yeah.
pitches.
That's until he comes back. You got to see how Max
Meyer
comes back.
barely has
Yeah.
3 pitches. Edward Cabrera has at least 5. What do you mean?
He does not have 5. No, he
What do you
doesn't.
mean? He has a sinker, he has a fastball, he has a changeup, he has a slider, and he has a curveball. Max Meyer has a slider, changeup, fastball. That's it.
Usable for Edward Cabrera. Maybe 3. Probably 3.
4 of them are usable.
I don't know.
In a short answer to your question, I feel like it would be Credo and Garrett coming close to repeating their 2022 numbers, and I'd be fine
hope
doing
so.
any.
That's-
I'd be fine doing any kind of experiment to improve.
That's the thing you have to remember is that the Marlins have pitching, yeah, but now with Pablo gone, now you're dipping into it, right? Right. So, and of course, we knew that Pablo may be gone. Yes, you have Jake Eater. Yes, you have Max Meyer, who's not going to contribute this year, maybe, well, definitely next year. Edward, who knows what's going to happen there. I think there's variance on Edward. I'm not 100% sold on him being a long-term starting pitcher, is what I mean to say. I'm not saying he's going to be the first guy that gets moved. I'm saying he could get moved because of his control and command. That's what
I
I'm
saw
saying
the
on
report.
Edward.
You saw the
But-
report that almost traded him 1-for-1 for Brendan Rodgers.
Oh my god.
So, and
Dude,
Sixto
I would've
Sanchez,
lost
like
my shit.
we exactly what you see on the bottom of the screen. We don't talk about Sixto Sanchez. So I mean, there's pitchers that can contribute quickly. Dax, Eater, Meyer, Cabrera if he works out. But past that, I mean, you look at the rest of the pitching in this organization. There's some usable arms, but they're not these top tier. Yuri, like nobody's Yuri Perez, but they're not even these second tier guys like you talk about with like. With Cabrera, I think is second tier and stuff like that. So you don't see these, like, there's not that many. Like, you think there's a lot, but there's not that many. So if you continue to draw from that pool, you're continuing to deplete what is a strength. Yeah. And if you want to get a Brian Reynolds or somebody like that, yeah, you got to give up part of your strength. But what I'm saying is don't just think that there's an endless supply of pitching, because there isn't.
Well, a name that you mentioned just now, Jake Eater, is a guy, before he got hurt, he was putting up some pretty good strikeout numbers, throws really hard. Of course, after TJ, like time will tell to see if he still has the velocity, can build back up to it. Has a really good breaking ball. And that's a guy I think that Miami can look at and say, okay, based on our starting rotation for the next 2-3 years, how is Jake Eater going to slide into that? Do we move him to closer? Because that dude can actually, he has nasty stuff. When healthy, he can strike out a lot of batters. He's a true strikeout pitcher. He was one of my favorite pitchers in the organization. And then he got surgery and a lot of people forgot about him. Don't forget about him. He's on the mend, and I think he can be a closer for sure.
No, I'll ask you, Alex. Is he ready?
Yeah.
He's ready for spring training, right? He'll be there. Alex?
If not in spring training, he shouldn't be that far away. I mean,
It's
yeah,
close.
I think he's pretty close. So definitely ready for minor league season, I would say, for sure.
No.
Who do you see as next to arrive for all these, the other pitchers we just mentioned? The next pitcher that won't open camp on the opening day roster, who will be the next one to come up?
It's obviously Yuri, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I think they may take it easy with Eater and maybe innings limit him. Just throw him in AAA and just throw 100 innings this year and just take it easy, which is smart. So if Yuri is off his innings limit, which he's been on all of his career so far, it's crazy to say because he's 19, almost 20. It's crazy to say that a 20-year-old could be the next closest pitcher to make a debut. But I think it would be Eater, unless you want to go into deeper guys and maybe talk about like Jeff Lindgren or something like that. But I know none of you guys want to talk about that. So
Talk
I'll
about
for
the
the
good
excitement
ones.
factor, I'll say Yuri Perez for you guys.
Yeah, the age is why I asked. I wondered if they just wanted if that was just part of Credo being here still, is this giving him that more seasoning? But Yuri's who I'd want to see the most. So great. All right, anything else, guys, on this that we need to look at with this trade or this biggest day of Marlins news in quite a while?
Did you guys see what Preston Wilson said about the Jazz?
DM me.
That they don't really love it. That they're saying that it's just not easy to just plug and play
Right.
players, especially someone coming off a back injury. Just put him in center field. It's like shit, dude. Like, can they not do a single thing right?
Right. Like
You
they
think
just
it's gonna
came
blow up
off
in
from
King's
doing this
face?
trade.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest mistake that you heard today is that Jazz Chisholm's going to play center field, and I'm not
Right.
saying that because I'm not unconfident in Jazz's ability to handle it athletically
Because he won Victor
or in his ability. What I'm saying is he has gaps to fill, he has gaps to close, and he at the plate. And now you're tasking him with learning a brand new position, like I said before. And I don't think the guy's ever stood in the outfield before, ever, except for maybe in warmups. So that's crazy. Like I can't get past that. Sign like some stopgap guy, Kiermaier or whatever you guys were talking about. Fine. Like put Brian Miller out there. Like who cares? Like
Literally,
like,
bro.
seriously.
He's nasty.
Even Mike Cameron is talking about this. He's
Yeah,
really,
that's
crazy.
what I read about.
Mike Cameron.
that's another former Marlin. They're really talking
Marlins
about it.
legend.
Yeah, this one I don't. I'm sure Jazz is very happy to go out there, but dude, I don't get it.
I mean, if it gets to the point where he's telling Kim he's gonna
go
win a
put
World
JD
Cup.
Orr out there for all I give a fuck.
Oh, God.
There you go. Dude, I'm the biggest JD Orr fan. Okay, look, if
I
JD
love that guy, dude.
If JD Orr
Alex Burr may be
is,
bigger.
Juan Pierre in 2013, so be it, bro. Like,
You have stop. I mean, even in house, you have stopgap guys. Like platoon it with I don't know Burdick and somebody else. Like
Not
I don't.
Burdick.
I just don't get what the thinking is when you have the infielders that you have. Why are you tasking this player? And yeah, if you ask him to go to the moon tomorrow, Josh Chisholm would probably say yes. So I don't understand. Like, oh yeah, he's cool with it. Of course he's cool with it. He'd be cool with anything. It doesn't mean he can do it. I don't know, man.
all right,
Yeah, it was just
Carver.
not on my radar at all. There's 40
Carver.
minutes today where I thought we were going to trade for Michael Taylor or announce that John Birdie was the starting center fielder.
Get Charles
and
LeBlanc play
anything
center?
but what what they did.
I need you guys to answer me this. Ready? Okay. There's 7 outfielders on the Marlins 40 men. As long as we all agree that JJ Bleday is the 7th best one there. Can we all agree there? Can we all agree?
Carver
Uh,
isn't gonna agree with you.
Ready. The 7 outfielders on the 40-man roster are Jorge Soler, JJ Bleday, Jesus Sanchez, Peyton Burdick, Brian De La Cruz, Gerard Encarnacion, and Avisail Garcia. You're going to tell me, let's just all agree that JJ Bleday is by far the 7th best player on that list.
I agree.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Carver won't agree, but maybe.
No, it's okay. I'm sure Carver does agree. He's a smart guy.
No, I would agree with
I
you.
think
I would
Peyton's
say it's
Burdick.
closer than you think between Urar and him,
Yeah.
but I would agree with you.
What
So you
about
have
Burdick?
So you have Burdick over
Burdick's
Gerard
pretty
and him.
bad.
Yes, I have
Yeah,
Burdick because
I'm
of his
with you on that.
physicality and his ability to
I'm
impact the
s-
baseball over JJ.
Carver,
Bleday.
I
Yes,
could
do.
kiss you right now. I'm so with you on that.
YouTube is asleep. That's the
Let's go back and look at the draft. Let's go back and look at that draft again.
The 2019 draft, bro.
Oh my God, here we go.
CJ Spilly doesn't want me to kick him in the nuts. Like I went with him with Noah, bro. Noah didn't even know who it was.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That was hilarious.
He's like, why is this guy talking about Jacob Berry?
Jacob, that's another guy. Where does he rank at third base in the organization?
Okay, I got you. In the
He's like the fourth
40
prospect.
in the 40-man roster, he would finish about 6th.
Dude, no, he's like last, like in everywhere.
Right, that's about last because you have Segura, Birdie, Wendell, Amaya, Edwards, Groshans. He's about last.
You consider my third?
Amaya's no, I was just reading out the list, but yeah, Amaya's pretty nasty.
I
Maya
think-
had a really great year.
I think the
Mine would be a
Marlins know. I think the Marlins know that Jacob Berry is not a third baseman. He'll be a first baseman or left fielder.
Oh yeah, for
They
sure.
better fucking
Everyone's
know.
saying
They
that.
better fucking know that because what I saw when Daniel, the video that Daniel sent us of Jacob Berry.
He made Donnie jump. He made poor Donnie.
Can you show us the
saw it.
video? Can you show us the video, Danny, if you can find it?
Oh my god.
Start looking. That
top
video-
115 prospect though, right? I think I saw he was just out. He was on the 15 names left off.
He could be an all right first baseman, then you have some hope. But
I mean, I know an episode of Physiology we had Jeff Ponce on, and he mentioned that Jacob Berry is just hitting. You're getting really nothing defensively. They drafted a DH first baseman with their top 5, 6 picks. Like they just picked up a guy to play DH in first base for how many years?
the iconic picture of Jacob Berry standing there, who was in front of like Garrett Cooper.
Oh, hold up. I have that. That's my favorite picture of all time. Hold up.
You just see like Garrett Cooper all built and jacked.
Who here has watched Breaking Bad?
Not me.
All right.
One
I'm sorry, what's
season.
your name in the top right?
Great show.
Rachel.
Amazing.
All right. The son of the main character. What's his name?
Walter Jr.
Well, Walt Jr.
Walter Jr. Walter Jr. is Jacob Berry.
Oh my god. No.
Oh,
I'm
not doing
sorry,
that.
but that's who that is, bro.
Let me search this guy up.
Walter.
but-
he suffers from fuck. What's the name of this? What's the name
You're
of
an
the disease?
asshole, Isaac.
What's the name of the
Do
disease?
you know who it was, Kev?
Hold on.
I don't watch that show.
Isn't it like Parkinson's?
No, it's close.
He has like
Cerebral
he has crutches.
Okay,
Oh.
I have
He has
okay, I have Jacob Berry. Here's Jacob Berry next to Mr. Garrett Cooper.
Oh my god.
You can't
Mini
tell
me.
me that guy's a normal person.
no. So he has
it's a mini
cerebral-
me at DH.
He has cerebral palsy.
Hold on, let me look at the correct video.
The Marlins picked 6th last year in the draft, right? It was a 6th pick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they passed on Brooks Lee from Cal Poly,
Oh,
Mhm.
he's
and that was the guy that I wanted the Marlins to get. I thought he was a
Everyone
way
wanted
better
him.
prospect.
Everyone wanted
But it should have been a no-brainer. Like, I don't know.
I would have liked him. Kevin Parada would have been nice. Who else? Zach
Kevin
Neto would have
Parada
been a great
sucks,
pick.
bro. Kevin Brada sucks. Shut up.
Nah, he's all right. But I would have liked Zach
Brooks
Neto.
Lee was the choice. Brooks Lee was the
Brooks
choice.
Lee was
Brooks
the choice.
Lee.
I
Brooks
mean,
Lee's the
if
man.
If they really didn't want Brooks Lee, there's other guys out there.
College Cooper. Where he is.
Cooper is such a capital.
They gotta trade him.
He gave me a
No,
nice
they
interview.
can't trade him now, man. All they have is a
They
riot
can't,
behind them. They can't trade him now.
That was another thing I thought would happen for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
we were we Danny asked Kim, and then she said, "Yeah, Cooper is their guy." Which
And
When
honestly,
Kevin
that's not-
when Kevin
honestly,
asked for my
That's not a bad thing, bro. Cooper can fucking rake.
no, yeah, of course, yeah.
I like
we're
Cooper.
hoping for a
Anyways.
first half Cooper all year next year.
Does this,
yeah,
does
if
this,
it's-
so I'll ask
doesn't
Nate
fucking
and
get
Isaac
injured
and-
again.
I'll ask the ones who weren't on my pod just now. Does this mean? Well, actually, I didn't ask you guys. Does Yuli Gurriel off the board at this point?
Obviously, Kevin, don't ask stupid questions.
That's not a super
Kevin,
question.
Kevin, go ask Grant. He'll tell you.
I never wanted him.
I never wanted Yuli.
No, I don't want you.
Yeah, Yuli would have been such a step back, honestly. But like, he would have been chill.
Really?
He would have been a step back.
Like
I
you're
mean,
telling
it's
me
an improvement from last year's
Right.
roster is the only thing I had, but they've done that now. So
Supposedly,
Right.
Shannon Sharp just tried to fight John
Like you're-
Ryan's dad.
Like you're telling me you would rather get a corner infielder in Yuli Gurriel, 39 declining veteran, over Jurickson Profar?
Ooh, I don't know
Like-
why he hasn't been signed
They
yet.
still need
That's
to
crazy.
fill in left field, and most of the teams that were in on Brian Reynolds are starting to pivot to Jurickson. If he comes to Miami, that'd be nice.
Him not getting signed is crazy to me.
I mean, it's a weird market because you also have Brian Reynolds in the market.
gets cheaper every day.
Yeah.
They should have signed. Could Jurickson play center? Put him in center instead of Jazz.
No, he
That's a
can't.
stopgap.
Profar?
No,
I know
he
he plays
can't.
second.
Check his
No,
footing
he
page. If
play-
he's
he
played one
played
game
center.
there, I'm
How
in.
soon will it be? How soon will it be that the Marlins make the call up of Victor?
Who's the
Victor?
Padres center fielder? They just want to go glove.
Wasn't it
Doesn't-
Juan Soto?
Doesn't Tatis play there?
No. They have
he was
their
right.
center fielder.
Oh, Trent Grisham.
Trent Grish.
Oh,
That's-
man.
Trent Grisham doesn't play center field, you fucking Capitals.
Trent Grisham does play
Yeah, he
center
does.
field.
Yeah,
Like he does, but he's not their everyday center fielder.
Who is their everyday center fielder than
I
Isaac?
don't know. It might be Trent Grisham.
It is Trent Grisham.
It
Sucks.
Is
would
it
love
really
to have
Trent-
Trent
is it
Grisham,
really
honestly.
Trent Grisham?
It is Trent Grisham, yeah. I
Yeah.
just checked. Yeah.
I only know that because my fantasy league plays with center fielders.
Yeah,
So-
you want to
Really?
What do you
Yeah,
think?
we do left, center, right. So Grisham was
with
useful.
what it took to get this guy Arraez, who again I like, but with what it took to get him, what do you think their ask was on Royce Lewis?
Oof.
You would have to at least-
Probably Dax.
Yeah, that's what I was
Alex.
thinking.
Dax
Probably the
and
top
or
guy.
Eater.
on up. One of them.
Yeah, Dax and Pablo and Salas.
Yep.
Salas, Dax. Yeah.
That's so.
And then
much.
Churio.
just for Lewis.
And Arraez.
Lewis
And
and
Arraez.
Arraez.
Oh, and Arraez. Okay.
So if it was like I bet it's like what?
Damn, that
2
would've
for
sucked.
4, 2 for 5.
Jesus.
Man, it's hard
Anything
to-
else?
You just feel so much better if they got
Uh-oh.
something else.
Yeah,
You
doing
just
something.
feel so much better if they got something else. They just didn't get anything else, but whatever.
Right, like
Dude, Alex is having like a heart attack out here, dude.
Give him
Well,
a
should
lot.
we
Give
wrap
him
on
a
that
lot.
positive note?
A lot.
Final thoughts. We'll go around the horn as we approach the hour mark for the live portion. Anyway,
Who's up first, me?
give it like a 1
Yeah.
to 10 range.
Are we grading it? Is that what we're doing?
sure.
We're
Let's
grading
give it a grade. I like that idea. Snake draft our way through.
C
Starting
C
with Kevin.
plus.
Okay.
C plus.
Jeremiah.
I'm going with a B.
Daniel.
Josh Johnson. What do you think?
C minus.
What do you, Isaac's
Isaac?
next.
You can't say my name. Why did I think you're JJ next to your face, bro?
That's the best pitcher Marlins history
Oh.
right
That's
there.
not even the good version of JJ.
I'll confidently
Sure.
go with a B minus.
Okay. I feel like both teams got what they wanted at the end of the day.
We didn't ask for an explanation, John. We asked for a grade.
B.
B.
Alex.
B minus.
Here comes
F
yeah.
minus.
There's projectability in both of those prospects, and then you give up one of the best control pitchers in baseball. It's a C minus.
Look, I
okay.
like
No.
Churrillo better than I like Salas. So there you go.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I think you're wrong, but that's your opinion. So
Dude, Churrillo's
And-
way
and I'll-
better than Jose Salas sucks, Alex.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Jose Salas.
The internet
is
will be
way
as
better
recording,
than
it's
as
recording.
good as I am.
You just extended the pod another 30 minutes.
come back and meet this year, like in June, and we'll talk about it. All right?
Nah, bro. Jose Salas sucks. The problem was Churrillo and Pablo, not Salas and Pablo.
All right. Well, you're wrong, but that's fine.
No,
Well,
I'm
I'll
not,
go-
bro.
I'll go
Salas
B.
sucks.
I don't know.
B.
I'll go B as well. I was B minus earlier in the day. I'm gonna grade up though on the options that we have and the options they have chosen to not pay for the big contract free agents that are out there. Then
Future
you
center fielder.
got to do something like this. So B for me, but
Pass center fielder. Oof.
I can
Dude, I
grade
can't believe
down
that.
if Salas takes off. And all right, well, with that from Marlins After Dark,
Literally.
I see we've had 2 viewers dedicated to this, so I hope you enjoy.
Where is Eli?
And we will do this again in a couple weeks. Look for from this feed, as we'll start going weekly as we get into the season, and we're coming up sooner than that. We'll do a Marlins trade draft on there. Now that we've made our big trade of the year, we have something to contribute from the 2023 side. So a draft will be coming up on best Marlins trade. But all right, for me, I'm Sean Millerick, and for Kevin, Jeremiah, Danny, Isaac, John, and Alex, wish you a good night and go fish.